by joining us on the Tuesdays that are set aside for this. So, without further ado, I will turn the floor over to our parish priest.
Okay, thank you, Muriel, and thank you for coming over to this first of our 5-part series on the theology of the body. You know, this guy, John Paul II, has been our Pope for the last, 26 and a half years. And right now, we don't know yet the full impact of his papacy. A year after, or less than a year after he died, you know, we don't know yet the full impact of his papacy. That this has been a great papacy, and now we refer to him as John Paul the Great. You know, I was in Power Books yesterday, and there's a new book in Power Books, you know, from John Paul II to Benedict XVI. It costs kasi 1,800 plus. So, ito napakamahal. So, ginawa ko, binasa ko na doon sa Power Books. I was able to scan the whole book, and I read the first chapter, the second chapter, and I read through the fourth chapter and the conclusion. So sabi ko, alam ko na yung huwag lang tumitin yan. But you know what? The first chapter has to do with his last days, last moments. How the world reacted, how people reacted, how people lined up for 4 hours or more just to get a chance to see his remains at the St. Peter's Basilica. And I didn't realize it. You know, as I was going through the chapter, tears began to flow from my eyes. That is how moving it was. The way this author describes how people reacted to his death and how people just love this man. So, that's John Paul II, John Paul the Great. Now, one of his long-lasting theological contribution to the church is precisely this thing that we call his theology of the body. We don't know yet how this theology of the body, given us by John Paul II, will impact on the church, on our society today. You know, he gave this theology of the body in a course of more than 4 years, from 1979 to 1984. That was 20 years already. It's only now that we are beginning to discover how rich this series of reflections of Pope John Paul II is, really, with regards to the theology of the body. A lot of us, the majority of us Catholics, are not yet familiar with this. You know, in 1995, I was in Fort Town. I studied there for a year. I wanted to write already a paper on the theology of the body of Pope John Paul II. But I was told by the faculty of philosophy of Fordham University that there was nobody could serve as my advisor. So I was not able to write anything on it. But then when I came back, I started teaching this to my students in San Carlos and my students in the Revolutionary Seminary. Now I am teaching this in Don Bosco this semester. I'm teaching the course on the theology of the body in Don Bosco here in Paranaque. Now sabi ko, naisip ko, this is my parish. Now, if I'm teaching this to seminarians and to other places, I better share these beautiful and rich reflections with you. So that is how the idea of starting this faith enrichment program with the theology of the body came about. But I tell you, right now, if you check the internet, in many parishes now in the US, Canada, in Europe, and Latin America, parishes are beginning to take notice of this. It's really something. Parishes in the US, maybe you have friends in the US, you can ask them. Parishes have really started to study this rich reflection of John Paul on the theology of the body. You can check the internet. You just punch in theology of the body, and you get all the websites there. Check Amazon.com, and you have all the books there available in the US about this theology of the body. So that is how rich this thing is. And I really would like to share this with you, okay? So, today we begin the series on theology of the body. Now, first of all, what is this theology of the body? What is the meaning of theology of the body? I think we have to start by saying first this phrase, theology of the body. But then before I start really formally with this lecture, there are just some things that I would like to mention at the start of this series. First, as I mentioned, I'm teaching this theology of the body now in Composto for 1 semester. Now that is 6 months. Now we are trying to reduce it to 5 to 7 hours. Now that means that I cannot really be very much in detail when it comes to presenting this. But however, although I'm going to be a bit sketchy, I hope to give you a rather substantial presentation of John Paul II's theology of the body. Second thing is, we plan these sessions to cover 1 hour and a half every session. So I will speak for about 1 hour, then maybe the rest of the 30 minutes we can devote it either to an open forum to give you the chance to clarify some questions that you might have in your minds, or we can devote the 30 minutes for personal reflection or group reflections, whatever you decide. You tell me later on. And then third, I'm sure that this presentation will evoke in your minds a lot of questions to be discussed. But I'm just asking you one thing. Let us just limit ourselves to the topic at hand. I've heard that somebody came here and gave this talks on the theology of the body, but in the audience, somehow he was kind of waylaid in this series because sa umpisa pa lang, ano lang tinatanong ng audience. Kaya medyo nawala sila doon sa track. So, I would like to be patient. We will have all the chances to address your questions that you may have in mind. And third, and fourth, we would like to really keep this in time. And we really hope to finish by 10 o'clock in the evening. So, if you will, kindly come on time so that we can start on time, so that we can also finish by time. We really would like to end by 10 or 10:15 or thereabouts, plus or minus. We still have all work tomorrow, and I don't want to keep you here to the wee hours of the morning. And finally, I don't know about the plans of our education ministry, but I think I've heard that they're planning, in some of our sections, they plan to distribute some handouts or notes. And maybe we will really appreciate if we can also give some, little contribution to help them, very expensive, whatever. Okay? So, yun ang gusto ko sabihin at the very start of the series. Okay. Now, what is this theology of the body? Okay. Ano yung sabihin itong expression theology of the body? First of all, theology of the body is the title given by John Paul to the series of 129 Wednesday audience homilies or addresses. In Rome, every Wednesday, you know this perhaps because you see this in EWTN, every Wednesday, the Pope, kung nandiyan siya sa Rome, he holds a public Wednesday audience. Gives the pilgrims who go to Rome a chance to meet with the Pope and to encounter the Pope. This practice of holding Wednesday audiences was started by Pope Pius IX way back in 1817. But then, John Paul II was the first Pope to utilize these Wednesday audiences to develop a systematic catechesis on a particular subject. Nowadays, sa EWTN, I notice na pinipid pa nila live ba yung Wednesday audience ng Santo Papa. So, you can really follow these Wednesday audience homilies. And every Wednesday audience, the Pope gives an address or a homily. Now, it was John Paul II who started the practice of using this platform to develop a systematic, an expanded catechesis on a given topic. And the theology of the body was the first ever series that he gave, a systematic series of catechesis on the theology of the body. So, theology of the body refers first of all to this